Welcome back, Rabbi Isai, part 3 in the sugya of smearing and schmearing on Shabbos Kodesh. Yesterday we spoke about a couple of different inyanim, the main one being, I think, food, how this malacha applies to various items of food, and we said that there is a difference between smoothing and spreading, that smoothing food would be problematic, at least hamachma tova bracha, whereas just simply spreading something is not a problem, because when you spread something, you're not doing it in order to smooth it, you're doing it in order to spread it on the cracker, on the challah, on whatever it is that you're trying to spread. So that's the gabe food. We spoke a little bit about a mamrech, like gabe odom. Today I want to get to the Ikar Sugya, and this is a Sugya, by the way, which I don't know if we've done this every year. Those that have been here every year will tell me if we've done this almost every year. I believe it to be a very choshev idea, because this is like a very, very important halacha. We have demonstrations today. As much as I can try and do, I have a slightly new mahalach I just decided to do today that I don't think we've done in previous years, that hopefully will demonstrate the idea a little bit more according to the Gemara to understand exactly what's going on. And it's important to know because a lot of people use things on Shabbos, whether it's a type of gel for their hair, whether it's chapsticks or women lipsticks and various types of makeup. People have hand creams for all sorts of, when you've got dry skin or rough skin or chapped lips and all these sorts of things. Babies, for example, cradle cap, diaper rash. There are all sorts of shilas that could come up. Now, before we even start the cream sugya, we have to mention that before the malacha of mamreach and mamachik, which is, of course, where we're coming from today, there's another problem. And that other problem is, of course, what? What's that?
Peeling.
No. That actually could be a problem when you peel off the skin. But I'm talking about by using the cream itself.
It might come to problem. Refuah.
Oh, shkoyach shemen, beautiful. Refuah. You said that?
Peeling.
Peel. Oh, I thought you said peel.
Peeling.
Sorry. Shmiel and shemen, both of you. Baruch Hashem. You want me to say the family name? Where you come from? What do you? Very good, both of you very good. There's a problem of refuah. That means when you use a cream that is healing, then that is a problem of refuah, which of course we mentioned last month, is an issa d'Rabbanan, as a gzeira that you may come to do toichen, which is of course how all medications were, and many of them still are, actually done. What's that? And build a raft at the same time. We haven't talked a lot about that this month. We haven't done the build and the raft, so yeah. Okay, so first thing you have to know when it comes to creams, is it mutar legabi refuah? Meaning, are you allowed to do such a thing? So if a person, for example, has a choyle she'ein bo sakana, right, which we already described last month, Shulchan Aruch, Shulchan Chav Ches, Sif Yud Zayin, third sheet of the Ramban and the Ramah over there that says clearly, it means a person's nofel mishkav is going to bed or would go to bed if it would help him, then avadi he's allowed to use it. Again, then you have to come on to the mamrech shaila. Is that mutar? Or for example, a baby or a young child that's suffering in pain, diaper rash, for example, very, very common, and it's painful for a child, especially when they're teething. Very negaya, right? The babies have nappy rash, diaper rash. When they're teething, it's very, very bad. It's very painful. It hurts them. Sometimes they can even have, it can even bleed over there. So therefore, putting cream over there can be very, very vital for the baby. That's a cholesh she'ein bo sakana. That's a davar poshut. If it's a meichel briim, what we say, something that healthy people do, that also might be mutar. Certain types of oils, maybe everybody puts that on their hands in certain places in the world, and that could also be okay. So the first shaila, refuah. If we got covered with refuah, we're okay with refuah, we then have to come on to the next shaila, which is today, which is mamreach, mamachik, the malacha of mamachik, which is smoothing and schmearing. What is the halacha when it comes to that? So just a couple of things. First of all, just before we forget this and we go into the demonstrations and it gets very, very exciting, just the olim should know that people think that, okay, so there's an issa maybe to smear it, but if I dab it on, so that I didn't do anything. The answer is that's not true. The Mishnah Berurah says clearly that there's an issa just to simply put the cream on, even if you're not smearing it, as a gzeira you may come to smear, which is a pretty normal thing. And again, there are certain times that a person gets a cream where he has to smear it in. The doctor says, I need you to rub it in, I need you to smear it in, right? Everyone's heard such things before, which could obviously be problematic. Now again, if it's a cholesh she'ein bo sakana, so it might be mutar because of the refuah, and it will also be mutar because of the cream, because you're allowed to do a drabbanan with the shinoi when it comes to cholesh she'ein bo sakana. So for example, a baby with diaper rash, you are allowed to do an issa d'Rabbanan. I say d'Rabbanan clearly because today we're going to see the difference between a cream which is d'Oraisa and a cream which is d'Rabbanan, and maybe even mutar lechatchila. So you're allowed for a baby or for a child or for an adult that's suffering in a bad way to do an Issa D'Rabbanan. So you could be over on both Refuah and both Mamachik or Mamreach in order to make him better in that case. So that is the simple idea when it comes to that. That's putting it on. Let's move on. Let's talk about the Kriyas Lamaisa. Let's get to some of the demonstrations to understand it. We have to start with the Gemara in Shabbos Kuf Mem Vav Amud Beis, where the Gemara tells us a very big Yesod, and this is going to be the Yesod that's going to help us understand every cream. Meaning, I brought you a sample of, 8 things over here, but there's unlimited things that I could have brought you, and even the things that I have, many of them fit in the same category. I don't know if we have to open every single one of them, but the idea, what I want to show you is I want to give you the klal. I want to give you the general rule, so you will know on your own, is it mutter, is it asa? Is it a daraisa, is it a drabanan, or is it mutter lechatchila? That's the greatest gift that I can give you today, is to give you the general rules that you can take home, use it on your own, upstairs, in your houses, and know, that's a daraisa, that's a drabanan, that's mutter lechatchila. Instead of me just giving you the samples and say, well, that one's asa, that one's mutter, and that one's not. It doesn't help you so much because you don't have exactly the same creams as I have. So I'm going to give you the kolim. I'm going to try to demonstrate it with some of the creams that we have. Gemara says in Shabbos, Kuf Mem Vav Amud Beis. What happens if you have a barrel and the barrel has a crack in it, has a hole in it? So the Gemara is machalik between shaiva, which is wax, and shemen, which is a type of thick oil, not the oil that we generally cook with. That's obviously very runny, that's like water, that's no shaila. We're talking about a type of shemen, which is like almost like a schmaltz, like a real fatty, schmearable item, which the Gemara says, are you allowed, and will be gozer that you may come to actually use wax and cover and stuff up the barrel that has a hole in it. Okay, so in a very simple manner, let me give you the simple klal and then we'll do the demonstrations. The simple klal is something that requires work to change the form is for sure a daraisa. There is no shaila whatsoever. So for example, and I didn't manage to find, I looked in my house, it looked like we did a good Pesach cleaning, we got rid of all the chomutz. There's no Play-Doh plastilina in my house, so I wasn't able to bring that in. So that's about the daraisa. Why? Because that requires you literally forming the shape with your fingers, with your hand. It doesn't happen by itself. If you hold it, nothing happens, right? Take a piece of Play-Doh, nothing's going to happen, you hold it, right? It is the form, and it requires you moving it and squishing it and moving in order to change it. One example, by the way, would be this. If you had chapstick, or for women, lipstick. This is basically what we said last time, a bar of soap. It's the same thing. This is mamachik, right? Thank you, Machala. This is mamachik. This is a doraisa. Using this on Shabbos is an issa doraisa. Why? Because this is mamachik. This is the form how it is. The way to change that, it doesn't happen by itself. You move it this way, move it that way, nothing moves, right? You have to literally, with your hands or on your lips, it starts to form a shape. A bar of soap being the same thing. So this is a doraisa, silly putty, plastilina, and the like could be also a doraisa. To give you another example, could be Vaseline as well. Now, take Vaseline, open it up, nothing comes out. You can stand there for 25 hours. At the end of the day, nothing is going to come out of a Vaseline. You're going to have to literally put your finger in and push, by the way. It doesn't just come out easily. You push, and then it comes out, and it stays in that shape. And you can move it this way, and you can move it that way, but it's only your movement that will move it. This pashtus will be a daraisa. This pashtus will be a daraisa. Why? Because this is something that can stuff a barrel. How do I know that? So I don't have a barrel here. I don't have a barrel, but I tried this one. I hope it's going to work. I haven't done this previously. I hope this is going to work. Okay? Here's what I prepared earlier. Let's see. Okay? We're gonna poke a hole in here. Okay? Let's not learn quantum physics, but this is leaking, as you see. Okay? We're gonna take some of the Vaseline here. Okay? This is leaking. We're gonna take some of the Vaseline. I'm going to try to dry it because if I don't, it's going to be difficult. This second. Also, don't try. That's done, right? There we are. I mean, I dafka did it in the bottom, by the way, not the top, because the gravity, quantum physics, whatever, it comes down, whatever. You see, it mamish. There it is. Sorry. Now, what's that? So let's flip the coin. Let's flip the coin and let's try something else and see if that works, okay? So let's, for example, let's take this. One second. Let me get through the demonstration and we'll see if we can. Everybody say next one, okay? This is not a pre-made hole. This is no tricks. There's no fake glasses or cups. This is real. Okay? Okay, nothing in my sleeve. Good, Ben. Good. Shkoyach. Okay. 1 second. Okay. Okay. Let's take some simple hand cream, regular hand cream, and let's put it on. Again, I'm going to try.
All higher anchors from birthday parties.
Now look, I put it on. Within about a second or two, it was gone. It doesn't work. It can't stuff a barrel. Now, according to this, Rabbi Isai, according to this, what does that mean? According to this, according to what we're saying, what have we just said? If it can stop off a barrel, so then that will be shayach the gzeira that you're not allowed to use it. Something that cannot stop off a barrel, meaning that it cannot even be used to cover a little hole for a little bit of water. Imagine a barrel is huge, the hole is bigger, and also remember there's a lot more wine, it's huge, the hole could be at the bottom, the pressure coming out. We used a bit of water and even that didn't hold in a simple hand cream. Which means anything that cannot stuff a barrel to be able to stop the water from coming out would be mutter. Which means something like this, for example, this is just regular normal hand cream, would be'etzem be mutter, but note that there are differences within that. For example, I'm not going to do another demonstration, but you could do this one as well. Something like if you have more of a cream like this, that keeps its shape. Now again, this is similar to Vaseline, because if you hold it this way, nothing comes out. You can shake it as much as you want, nothing's really going to come out. Hey, you bang it, maybe it will come out, but nothing's going to come out that way. If I would take off the lid over here and tip it, it would start to pour out. So that's the difference between the two things. That this would give you an example. Take for example, take for example hand cream like that. So that's a hand cream. That's a simple hand cream, but lemaisa it stays in its form. It stays in its shape. Anything that stays in its form and stays in its shape would be, of course, problematic. Take for example toothpaste. Now toothpaste also stays in its shape. You can hold it over there and you do that. This will be mamreach. This will be an issa. Because this stays in its shape, it retains its original shape. This can also stop up, it would be able to stuff up a hole in a cup with water and of course with barrel, which means it's nichlan in what the Gemara says, Shabbos Kuf Memvav, which is it can stuff up a barrel, which means it's gzeira otu shaiva, which means it's asa, which means that a person has to basically make a cheshbon like this. Anything that retains its shape, you poke your finger in it, it retains its shape. Put it on your finger, it retains its shape, that's going to be asa. It will just be a durabonon, not a doraisa, right? Whereas something that doesn't even retain its shape, for example, I put it over there and I just hold the finger down and as you can see it's going to drip, so obviously that's going to be mutar lechatchila because there's no retaining of the shape and therefore there's no gzeira altu shaiva in that case. So the general mahalach Rabbi says like this. Again, even if it's mutter, be careful because of refuah. Obviously a hand soap or a hand liquid, whatever, there's no problem with refuah. But any time that something will be running, and Kaf HaChaim says if you want to make sure to add some liquid before Shabbos, if you're worried about your liquid soap being a little bit maybe on the thick side, says the Kaf HaChaim, you add a bit of liquid before Shabbos, maybe even on Shabbos, whatever, it's a different shayla. But Pasha, the better is to do it before Shabbos, make it more liquidy. Or for example, if you have a baby that has some kind of, you have someone a child that needs to have, again, and it's not a problem of refuah. So what you could do is you could actually put it into warm water. I wouldn't put it into hot water, because your shayla maybe a bishul, whatever. If you put it into warm water, you could put a cream that's thick into warm water. It starts to run, because the warm water obviously makes it start to go a little bit liquidy, and therefore you could use that on Shabbos. Again, with the shayla of refuah in place, having to know if it's mutter because of refuah, but al-mamreach also you have to know as well. So the general rule, and these are the categories, something that's very, very thick, that needs work to move, like for example, the chapstick, or here, for example, is another one, Sudocrem as well, right? Also for babies, very, 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 very common. There's nothing you could do with that. That's mamish like a chapstick. It's like a bar of soap. It's like Play-Doh, plastilina. That's a vadanissa doraisa. And then you have a durabonon of things that could stuff up a barrel that are thick but not runny. They can stuff up a barrel. That's going to be a durabonon. And then you have the mutar lechatchila, things that are runny, things that don't keep its form and keep its shape, that wouldn't be able to stuff up a barrel. Those things are going to be mutar. Bearing in mind, even if something is asa, you cannot, like the Mishnah Berurah says, dab it without smearing it. You're not allowed to do that. And of course, to make note, to know that anything that is going to be mutter because of mamreach, watch out because of Hilchos Refuah. Be'ez Hashem, next week we will start a brand new malacha. Have a wonderful, beautiful day.